Hello gardeners, welcome back to Aquaponics. Today we're talking about pumps and some reasons why pumps fail and what to do about that. I'm going to talk specifically about the Danner models 3, 5, 7, or 9. They are very reliable pumps. They are typically 4 to 5, 6 years. Here's a used one that I have. We'll talk a little bit about this one in just a minute. With those pumps, I typically like to use this pre-filter. Pre-filter is one that's going to go on the front end of the pump, and it's going to screen it from all of the debris so that that doesn't go through the impeller. Let's talk a little bit about the parts of the pump. Okay, we've got 3 different covers. The cover goes over the portion of the pump, as you see here, goes over the cover here, where this, what is called the impeller, this impeller right here, is going to be inside of the pump, not in there, and then the cover goes over the top of that. So all 3 of these pumps that these covers came from were all running when I received them, or when I showed up, but they were making a racket. So there is a way that you can tell if your pump's starting to wear, is that you'll start hearing kind of a fast clicking sound. And let me show you what that's from. Okay, we've got our 3 covers here, and as you can see, the 2 on the left don't look like they're in very good shape. The one on the right looks probably the cleanest. But I want to show you a couple things about this. Even though the one on the right looks the cleanest, let's flip it over and take a closer look. Look inside here. This entire inner portion here is completely destroyed. And on the outside, it's kind of hard to see, but hopefully you can see the striations going along this edge here. And that's because once that front end here breaks loose, then the impeller starts to get coming in at an angle, and it really destroys things on these covers. Here's a brand new replacement cover. This one says here for models 2 and 3. So this will not fit on a model 5 or 7 or 9, but it does. You can see the center part of this, and that is what we're looking for. Let's look at the second one. The second one looks like it's not in too bad a shape. You can see all of the 3 tines are still there. You can see that the middle of it still has a little bit of, it's not completely round. And that's what's going to happen when these wear down. You're going to see some roundness on this area. However, if we take one of our used impellers, let me go ahead and put that in there, and I put that into that puka there, it still has a little bit of play. And that's not a good thing as well, because that play is going to mean a little bit of vibration. But this is probably a usable cover. I probably would keep this as a spare. Notice that there's a little bit of striation at the top here, right up in here. There's a little bit, but it's not as severe as the other one. And let's look at our third one. And remember, all 3 of these pumps were actually running at the time that I found them. Now here you can see the entire bottom half, or I should say the top half, because normally this is up this way. The top half of this little cover, or the little basket that the front of the impeller sits in, is completely torn away. Now this one was probably still sitting in this little pocket here, but it still was not running very well and needs to be replaced immediately. And I'll explain why that's the case in just a second. A couple other things to notice. We've got 3 different O-rings here. This O-ring is probably in the best shape of the 3. You can see that it's not twisted in any way, and it's still quite flexible, so not too bad. This one can't be used, it's been broken. The good news is that the O-ring is also put into this kit. Now let's take a look at the other half of this, and that's our impeller. Take a look at this impeller. Look at how at the top of this it has worn itself right through to almost a concave look to it. And that's really bad. The last thing I want to talk about is the pump itself. So one of the things you don't want to have happen is you don't want to have that at the far end. If you can see all the way down in there, let's see if I can get this bit, there we go. If you look all the way in the bottom, you can see that it's octagon that has been eroded away on that upper left-hand side. And you can also see that the entire front of this, I mean, it's hard to tell, but this is not completely round anymore. And that's because the impeller, which was inside here, was in such bad shape that it was rattling around and it was creating a nuisance back inside of the pump itself. So when that happens, if you get a pump like this one that has been compromised on the inside, unfortunately there's nothing you can do about it and it has to be replaced. The difference in cost between the two is quite significant. So you can purchase one of these replacement part packets for the outside portion for probably under $20, and you can pick up a new impeller for around $20 as well. Alright folks, so that pretty much takes care of it. So a new Danner pump, even a Model 3, is looking at $75 versus replacing just the outside portion and maybe the impeller for much less than that. And of course the price of pumps goes up the more powerful it is. So obviously you're going to want to replace the impeller once in a while. Obviously it doesn't need to be replaced if it looks clean and it's not making any sound. And this one, more important, the housing itself, should get replaced once a year or at least once every other year. Hopefully that will keep them running for years. Alright gardeners, keep taking care of those tilapia and vegetables, and take care.